This here is known as my time. 410 to 15, you're mine. This is my life as I live with my cat and me. What you got to give? So sit and explore my life while I walk through life with strive. But I'm here for all to show, even those left behind can't glow.
This is a speech I wrote today for a discussion panel at Mount St. Vincent University, and I wanted to share it with everybody. So, hey everyone, name's James Wiseman, and I'm a protester for Occupy Nova Scotia. First off, a little background on myself. I was born into a drug-addicted family here in Halifax and was quickly put into a system that didn't care about my future. I've gone through many adoptions, many orphanages, and all before I had turned 6 years old. I was lucky in that I ended up with a family that didn't see me for my past, but what I could have in my future. And they gave me the chance to have a life that I would otherwise not have had. I have spent the better part of my life trying to fix the mistakes of a system that was only interested in making money off of me. Did you know that a child in the system is worth over 10 grand, and most of that money goes directly to the private company that holds those children, and not back into the system that produced them to help fund for better care or services? Thankfully though, my current family provided me with what I needed to become the person you see today. They provided love, compassion, and most of all, understanding of what battles I would face in life. If left in the system, I would simply have been thrown away and left to either die or fend for myself, and would most likely have ended up in jail. Now, a lot of people have asked me throughout the past couple of weeks, why am I protesting and what do I plan to accomplish? I am protesting a system that has been in place since the time before the light bulb. A system that was built on prejudice, racism, belittlement, deceit, and greed. I am fighting for everyone I have known in my life who has suffered, who has starved, who has been out in the cold with nowhere to go and no one to turn to, while others around the world spend millions on surveys, billions on killing innocent lives in other countries with wars that were only started so that the rich defense contractors could get paid. Billions on destroying precious land and forestry, billions on ensuring the population is in check and under their control, and countless billions on backdoor trading in which they use people's own debts as their bets. I have been following the corrupt system since I was a child and have been on many occasions bewildered by what I see. Blatant lying by politicians, complete disregard for people's rights, a lack of caring about the less fortunate, and most recently a transfer of wealth from the top 1% of the current economic system. Did you know that the financial industry at this very moment has a derivative trading in excess of $620 trillion in bad loans and improper mortgages, which they trade for actual money and bet on your ability to pay them? The world's combined wealth is only $16 trillion. 620 trillion, 16 trillion. Companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, ATB Financial, and Koch Industries, and so on, are so intertwined in the world's economy that if even one of these companies failed, it would mean the end of every single financially run economic system currently being used on the planet. The ripple it would create would crash everything. Most people who are not up on what's going on in the world do not see how something like this could have an effect on our economic system. The most recent of this is the 2008 bailouts that the American financial industry received. Well over $1.5 trillion were funneled into the financial system by taking taxpayers' money and giving it to companies who were too big to fail and who said they were going to go bankrupt. The only problem was that they were nowhere near bankruptcy, and the proof of that is in their quarterly profits in 2008 by these same financial companies and their banks. Their bonuses were in excess of over $400 million each. That's a piece. These same financial companies and banks, that I might add, have been trading the same derivatives that they are still dealing with today, who have received this money, have in fact reported record profits and bonuses every single year since. So what happened to the bailout money that the taxpayers paid for? They went into the pockets of rich millionaires who are only interested in filling their own pockets, regardless of the outcome it would create. This is a perfect example of how our current system is completely detached from the society it was made to run. The problem with that is that the system was created in a time when people still used horse and carriage. It is not able to handle the greed and corruption we now find in people's hearts. It was not set up to deal with an imbalanced societal structure, and we are seeing what happens when that same greed and corruption is let loose on a political system that is just as greedy and corrupt. What I hope to accomplish is simple. This is my first, and what I believe will be my first, and what I believe is my last chance to fight for a fair and balanced system peacefully, where everyone from the top to the bottom is able to follow their dreams, follow their hopes, and follow their hearts. I am fighting for a system that allows people to have the ability to change and grow. A system where greed, self-worth are no longer the goal and people are able to look out for one another. I want to be able to grow old and retire without worry. If we do not take a role in changing not only the system, but how we live our lives, we will never retire, we will work till we die, and have no freedom to express ourselves, no freedom to explore our world, and most importantly, no freedom to live free. I fight because it is our lives at risk, not theirs. It is our stomachs that grumble for food, our bodies that crave warmth during the winter nights, and our hearts that crave understanding and love for our earth and those who inhabit it. I fight because I am no longer in control of my life, and I want it back. There you go. That's the speech I wrote. I entitled it My Occupy, which is the title of this video. So, you know, if any of you are out there and are protesting for your rights, let me know in the comments, you know, what you believe in, what you stand for, because, you know, there's a lot of different people from different backgrounds with different beliefs involved in this movement, and, you know, it would be nice if we all had better understanding of one another. So there you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little speech there. It's the first speech I've written since grade 7, I think, when I wrote a random paper on Martin Luther King. And my English teacher decided it was so good that she made me get up in front of the whole school and read it. So I've always been pretty confident in my writing skills. I came across fairly good, I believe, for my first ever real open panel discussion in a room full of instructors and like major class major students and shit like that. So I definitely had to know my stuff, and I think I came across fairly well. So I also wanted to cover something before we start the GA here that I saw online last night. I watched online the live stream for the Oakland Occupy, and I got to watch exactly how the police lines are formed, exactly how the police provoke the people who are just simply sitting on the ground. I mean, sure, you have your oddballs here and there who like to provoke the police, but all in all, I didn't see anybody being provocative. I didn't see anybody being antagonistic. I didn't see anybody egging anyone on. Their batons and their paintball pepper spray guns and concussion grenades and tear gas grenades and flashbangs and all this other shit. And the guy on the live stream was simply just walking around, you know, recording everything for everybody, and just randomly you would hear this shit go off. Like, you would hear flashbang here and flashbang there. I even got to see somebody get hit with a concussion grenade. Literally, they shot him with it. And then when people went to go help him, like the same with that soldier who got hit in the head and was almost killed, who is now suffering from brain damage, people went to go help the person, and the police mowed them down with rubber bullets and paintball pepper balls. Even the guy who was holding the camera got sprayed with them, and you could hear them hitting him. He's just thud, 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 thud. And it's stuff like that. Police are not supposed to aim those weapons at people, and they were blatantly aiming them at people. You know, there's about 250 police officers from various counties outside of Oakland who basically just stood there for the first while and didn't do anything. They just stood there and didn't let the protest move forward. However, it wasn't until the Oakland police came in and they immediately started firing at people without any provoking done by the protesters, without anything. They just started firing on people. And when the Oakland police started firing on people, the other county police officers started firing on people. And I sat there bewildered at what I was watching. I could not believe I was witnessing something like that, where people were literally doing nothing. They weren't doing anything besides just being there in the streets. And the police were telling them it was an illegal assembly and that they all needed to go home and that chemical agents were going to be used and all this other shit. And as far as I know, during the business day in Oakland, there are a lot more people on those streets. There are thousands upon thousands, sometimes millions of people walking down those streets on a daily basis. But the police never stop any of them from doing anything, do they? No, it's only because these people are protesting. The people in power that don't want these people protesting are putting funds and money into the police departments and coercing the heads of those police departments to enforce what they want. It's a perfect example of how the major corporations are buying the politicians. You don't give somebody millions of dollars and then expect nothing in return. That's just not how it works. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I thought it was absolutely asinine what I witnessed last night, and I feel really bad for those people in Oakland who have been raided 8 times so far with no provocation, without any reason whatsoever, and people are now getting seriously injured because they're firing directly at them, and that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So folks, another day at Occupy Nova Scotia is coming to an end. Today was just as, well, by the end, after the General Assembly and everything, it was just as frustrating as every other day. You know, there's people taking advantage of the movement and using the free food and using the free shelter and so on and so forth, and people's ability to give to others who might need it. It's completely taken advantage of it. But other than that, you know, we're trying to take steps to get them more involved. We're trying to take steps to get them more active in the community. There are, however, people there that literally don't care. Like today, I had a guy who was in the General Assembly sitting there with open alcohol, just drinking away. And when I went up and asked him if he would mind getting off the property so that the police don't come down here and start busting people for having open alcohol, he told me to go fuck myself. He'll do what he wants. We have so many. We have the media, we have the police, we have City Hall, we have the public. We have everybody watching us right now and everybody judging us right now. And the last thing we need is for some punk ass fucking kids to ruin it for all of us. You know, we have a code word that we use whenever we come across stuff like that, and we yell out shenanigans. And when we yell out shenanigans, it's up to the community who are actually involved to go over and regulate that person who's breaking our simple rules. Not rules, but just I don't know. But you know, we simply ask them if they could leave. Just go for a fucking walk. How hard is it to go for a walk? You're already camping outside. I mean, we don't like having drunk people there, and if we know that there's drunk people there, they'll be confined to their tent, or they'll be asked to leave the property, or if they get rowdy and shit like that, we'll just call the police and they'll get thrown in the drunk tank overnight. You know, it's the punk ass little kids who think they're fucking Superman and can do whatever the fuck they want without having any consequences. When unfortunately they're gonna learn a very hard lesson eventually, and none of us will be there to hold their goddamn hands. It is stressful. It's taking a lot of energy, like I've mentioned before, to just simply be involved. It's just being down there takes a lot out of you. That it's very stressful, seeing how ignorant and how disrespectful people can be at something so simple. But anyway, guys, enough of that fucking rambling on. I hope you guys liked my little speech earlier. That took a lot of work for me to put together, and I got a lot of emotional feedback in regards to it today when I was at Mount St. Vincent, just looking at people's faces, and I almost made a girl cry, which was kind of nice. But that'll be it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be back tomorrow with another commentary on my Occupy, and that'll be it. Stay strong, stay wise, folks, and live free. Peace.
Thank you.